The sun hung low over my backyard, casting a golden glow across the pool that I'd spent years perfecting. It was my sanctuary, a shimmering oasis where I could escape the petty dramas of our suburban neighborhood. That peace shattered the day Karen Montgomery, the HOA's self-appointed enforcer, decided my pool was her personal playground. What followed was a whirlwind of chaos, trespassing, a near drowning, a breathless CPR rescue, and a courtroom showdown that left me questioning the limits of human gratitude. This is the story of how one woman's entitlement turned my quiet life into a legal nightmare. I'd always known Karen was trouble. Her name was synonymous with clipboard tyranny in our cul-de-sac. She'd fine you for a mailbox to shades off, the approved color chart, or for grass half an inch too tall. My pool, though, was her obsession. It was a pristine 20 by 40-foot rectangle, surrounded by a tall cedar fence I'd built to HOA specs. Karen, however, insisted it was a public hazard because kids might sneak in. Never mind that it was locked tighter than Fort Knox, or that I'd installed cameras after her third inspection complaint. She wanted control, and I wasn't giving it to her. One sweltering July afternoon, I was sipping iced tea on my patio when I heard a splash. My heart lurched. I lived alone, and no one had permission to use my pool. I bolted to the gate, only to find it ajar, the lock jimmied open. There, floundering in the deep end, was Karen, her neon pink visor bobbing like a distress signal. She wasn't swimming, she was drowning. Her arms thrashed wildly, and her gasps echoed off the water. I didn't think. I dove in, fully clothed, and hauled her to the shallow end. She was limp, her face pale, her lips tinged blue. Lived her onto the deck, my lifeguard training from college kicking in. Checked her pulse faint. I started CPR, counting compressions, my hands shaking as I pressed on her chest. "Come on, Karen," I muttered, half praying, half cursing. After what felt like an eternity, she coughed, water spewing from her mouth. Her eyes fluttered open, and she gasped. "You? You pushed me." I froze. "Pushed you? I've just saved your life." But Karen was already scrambling to her feet, clutching her soggy visor like a shield. She pointed a trembling finger at me. "You'll hear from my lawyer," she spat, then stumbled out the gate, leaving a trail of water and accusations. The next day, a sheriff's deputy served me with papers. Karen was suing me for $50,000, claiming emotional distress, property damage, her visor. Apparently, and get this, assault. She alleged I'd lured her onto my property, pushed her into the pool, and assaulted her with CPR. The absurdity. Would have been laughable if it weren't so infuriating. I'd saved her life, and now I was the villain. I hired a lawyer, a sharp woman named Rachel, who specialized in HOA disputes. "This is a shakedown," she said, reviewing the complaint. "But Karen's got influence. The HOA board backs her, and she's got a reputation for winning frivolous suits." Rachel advised me to pull my security footage. Sure enough, the cameras caught everything. Karen climbing my fence with a crowbar, slipping into the pool, and flailing until I pulled her out. The footage was crystal clear, but Rachel warned me, "She'll spin this. We need to be ready." As word spread, the neighborhood split. Some neighbors, tired of Karen's reign, slipped me notes of support. Others, her loyal minions, whispered that I'd always been trouble. The HOA sent me a letter demanding I drain my pool pending an investigation. I refused, citing my compliance with every regulation. The tension was suffocating, like living in a soap opera where I was cast as the antagonist. The court date arrived 3 months later, a stuffy county courtroom that smelled of old coffee and older grudges. Karen sat across from me, her hair teased into a helmet of curls, her face a mask of righteous indignation. Her lawyer, a slick man named Greg, painted her as a victim of my negligence. He claimed my pool was an attractive nuisance, that I'd failed to secure it, and that my reckless CPR had cracked her rib. The rib part was true CPR often does, but the rest was pure fiction. Rachel countered with the security footage. The courtroom monitor flickered to life, showing Karen's break-in. Gasps rippled through the gallery as she pried open my gate and strutted to the pool like she owned it. The footage of her drowning was harder to watch her panic. My desperate rescue. Rachel leaned into it, her voice steady. My client risked his life to save Ms. Montgomery, who was trespassing on private property. She repays him with this baseless lawsuit. Karen took the stand, her voice quivering with rehearsed emotion. I was inspecting the pool for safety. Violations, she said. He startled me, and I fell in. Rachel pounced. Ms. Montgomery, why were you on private property without permission? Why did you bring a crowbar? Karen stammered, her story unraveling. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with steel-gray hair, looked unimpressed. Then it was my turn. I recounted the day, my fear, when I saw her drowning, the adrenaline of CPR. I didn't want her to die, I said, my voice catching. I just wanted her to stop harassing me. The courtroom was silent, save for the hum of the air conditioner. Rachel submitted my HOA compliance records, proving my pool met every standard. The judge nodded, her pen scratching notes. The trial lasted 2 days. But it felt like years. Karen's lawyer tried to spin the narrative, claiming her inspection was HOA sanctioned. But the board's president, under oath, admitted they'd never authorized her actions. The crowbar was the nail in her coffin, figuratively, thankfully. The judge deliberated for an hour before ruling in my favor. Ms. Montgomery, she said, her voice sharp, your actions were reckless and illegal. Mr. Thompson's response was heroic. Case dismissed. I exhaled, relief flooding me. But Karen wasn't done. As we left the courthouse, she cornered me in the parking lot, her face red. This isn't over, she hissed. I'll make your life hell. I stared her down, exhausted but resolute. Karen, you already tried. It didn't work. The aftermath was quieter, but not without ripples. Embarrassed by the publicity, forced Karen to resign as president. She moved away 6. Months later, her house sold to a young couple who waved instead of glaring. My pool stayed, a symbol of my victory, though I added a stronger lock and a motion sensor alarm. Neighbors who'd shunned me started nodding hello again, and a few even apologized. We didn't know she was that bad, one said. I just shrugged. I'd known. Looking back, I don't regret saving Karen, even if she turned on me. Not about her, it's about who I am. But the ordeal taught me something about entitlement. Some people will climb your fences, drown in your pool, and still sue you for the water in their lungs. I keep my cameras on now and my gate locked. Peace is fragile, but I'll fight for it, one splash at a time. Asterisk.